Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 1986 Amateur League A1 Grand Final. This is Brian Lees and Stephen Milne. Stephen's not with me at the moment, but he will be bringing you the video of the day. We have just witnessed watching the A1 reserve game in which Riverside ran out winners by 11 points, I believe it was. It was a great win. As you can hear in the background, you can hear the B-grade players singing their song whilst holding the banner. With me also as a special guest today, I have a former champion player for Riverside, Mark Waring. Mark, what's your thoughts about today's game?
Well, Brian, I can see that there are two of the strongest two sides in the competition obviously playing in the grand final, and it's going to be hard to see where...
We're getting ready to come out, Mark. We're getting ready to come out.
Oh, good. It's going to be hard to see where either side will get ascendancy today, because both have got very strong backlines, very good centre square players, and there's perhaps going to be an attack. Whoever plays best up forward might get the ascendancy, because the coaching is very well matched with two best coach in Amateur League, and let's just hope we have the better one.
Thanks, Mousy. Well, there you are. You've just seen the players run out. You just heard the comments from Mousy. Today really promises to be one of those days in which Riverside can bring out a double. I have no doubt about that. They're tuned to perfection. You know, I believe Mousy said something about Niall O'Neill, the coach. Well, what can you say about the man? What superlatives could you use for him? He is a man. He's a man of discipline. He's probably the greatest man to ever coach in Amateur League. There's not too many that have coached eight grand finals. In fact, there's none. In fact, there isn't one coach in South Australia that has ever coached into 8 grand finals in South Australia. Not one coach has ever done it, whether it be junior, senior, or whatever. It is history. It's history making, and congratulations are in order for Niall. Now, the Riverside team, as it will line up, is from the back line. Being a Victorian, I always call everything from the back line. In the back pocket is Chris Pedersen, I should say. He's an old mate of mine, Pedo. I really get stuck into him, don't I, Double?
You certainly do.
But anyway, let's hope that he's showed some improvement. The fullback is Colin Ellison. Colin Ellison, I don't know him. And in the other back pocket, a bloke called Darryl Ashby. He was a co-commentator with us last year, sitting up here, only because he had a broken hand. Darryl Ashby's got chalky bones, but apart from that, he's a great footballer, and he was the reason why we beat Greek in 1984 in the grand final at Norwood Oval. It was Darryl Ashby's magnificent game at centre half-back flank. You know, Marty Martinovic, an old stalwart of the club and a great player. Stephen Salmini, I'm a bit concerned about him, but nevertheless, I suppose that he can always give a bloke another chance. I've given Pedersen 2 chances. I wonder if I'll give him 3. On the other half-back flank, the old Reliable, also another player that helped us win the 1984 grand final. In fact, I thought he was best on the ground, Kimmy Kretschmer. If he can repeat that form, okay, we're in line for a double today. When I call a double, that's the reserve and A grade. On the wing, a former captain, a good player, still wears number 10. You wouldn't get it off him anyway. Stephen Green in the centre. A player that did play for Riverside in his earlier days, went across to Port Adelaide. Alan Gill has the experience, has the knowledge, and I'm pretty sure he also captained Port Adelaide reserves at one stage. My memory teaches me well. And Alan Gill will certainly give them a lot of drive out of the centre. On the other wing, we have Jeffrey Manuel, who is undoubtedly in the best 3 wingmen in Amateur League. A half-forward line, Peter Williams, wearing number 16, worries me. He's a player that once put under pressure seems to falter. Okay, today's another day. I can't keep it against the kid. He may have showed some improvement. I hope so for the side's sake. Centre half forward, I don't know this player at all, John Magison, I think it is. I'm not sure. Is that right?
Yes, he's a big bugger that came out with...
tell me he's slow.
He's slow, but he's picked up with his speech a bit. But
well, that's all right, as long as his speech is picked up.
That's true,
You've got to talk out. If you don't talk...
That's right, exactly. You don't get the bloody ball.
That's right. The captain of the side this year, Grant Montgomery, if you could keep him fit, he probably wouldn't be playing. He'd probably be playing at Port Adelaide or Woodville. He's a great footballer on his day, and he don't come much better. Full forward line, Mark Hoffner was responsible for kicking the first 3 goals for Riverside in their last premiership win on Adelaide Oval, which was 1984. Played a tremendous game that day. David Simons at full forward, he's been there all year. He's kicked a bag of goals. I believe he's kicked about 68. And on the other forward pocket we have Darryl Lowry, the best goal sneaker in amateur league without a doubt. I can't talk too much about him. He's a brilliant footballer. First ruck, Mick Hamill, former Riverside player that went to West Torrens in the Port Adelaide's come back. He's tall, he's strong, and he gives the side a lot of bite, and he gives the side what they badly needed, and that was an experienced ruckman. Ruck rover, well, what do you have to say about Vinny Labrandy? You know, great player. Well, Bubbles just said that's lovely. Yeah, I don't mean that, you know, with you not out there, Bubbles. What I mean is last year they didn't have a Bubbles, nor did they have a Mick Hamill. That's what I mean. And that's what beat them last year, nothing else. I thought we last year should have won it. And had we had one ruckman on that side that was capable of taking on Bill Richardson or the other bloke, I think we would have won. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind.
That's true.
Let's get back to the ruck rover, Vinny Labrandy. What more can you say about him? Dale McLean wants to knock his head off, but I've told Dale he's not good enough. A lot of blokes want to knock Vinny's head off, or I want to do things to Vinny, but none of them are good enough because he's an old, you know, campaigner. He's been around, he knows all the dirty tricks, and he uses them. And he uses them to his advantage, and good luck to him. That's what footy's about. And Ivan Coles, roving, first rover, number 28, top player, state player, beautiful exponent of the stab pass and drop punt. He's a beautiful kick of a football and runs like a hare. Was a schoolboy champion runner, and certainly John Griffin, the coach of Unis, will do everything in his power to take him out of the game. Well, on the bench we have Tony Garuda. I don't know anything about him, and we've got Mark Rooney. He's no relation to Mickey Rooney. I don't know much about him, but I know his brother, who was a former footballer at Riverside, and that's Paul Rooney. He's no relation to Mickey Rooney either. But Paul wasn't a bad player in his day, and if Mark is as good as him, well, then Mark will give us a good count of himself when he comes on. Bubbles.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, University out in the field at the moment. I'll try and gradually pick up the position. They've got big Brucey Canes over there, King Cup rower, against Big Mick Hamill. The umpires for today is Little Weed, as we all know, John Broadview Cranwell.
Don't talk too much about that.
Right, I'm sorry about that, Brian, but I had to get off my system. And his assistant is Seaton Ramblers, Russell Ebert, Alan Robinson.
Okay, the ball's about ready to be bounced in the start of the 1986 A1 Grand Final, played on the Adelaide Oval in perfect conditions. John Cranwell is asking the umpire...
University going to the northern end of the ground and to the southern end of the ground. Out comes Foster, a thumping punch towards centre half forward. Through goes the Riverside defence. It comes out. In goes the critter Pedersen. There will be a bounce surely. No, an early free kick to break it up. And Riverside will take it. And Ashby from the centre half back position kicks a long kick towards the centre of the ground. Foster in front, drops what he should have taken. It comes out, through goes the outhouse, dodges superbly and then loses what he shouldn't have. It comes out towards the wing. In goes Hamill, a good possession, picked up again by the outhouse. A nice possession across and forward. Through Houston go University. But Martinovic takes a mark, and with a penalty, a 15-metre one come back towards the centre. Kicks long towards centre half forward. It's an infringement there, not paid. Through goes Montgomery towards full forward and rams the first of the grand final. A very good one too. And Riverside leads 6-0 after 1 minute. So Riverside draw first blood in the grand final. So Riverside draw first blood in the grand final, and umpire Cranmore has possession of the football in the middle of the ground. Big Bruce Caines v the Hamill. It's Caines' tap. Antonello hit high and will take a penalty. Crude tackle there from the Riverside half back line. Antonello will look long, looking perhaps for Tasker. Here comes the boy Sean. He's out of position. Is it a strong mark to Dad's? Not paid. Riverside take possession. And it's to Kretschmer. And Kretschmer brings it out to the far side of the ground with a low raking pass, and it's well possessed by Riverside, and they go forward towards the half forward line where Magnuson can't take possession. In goes Hard, the outhouse. And a free kick played to Riverside, and I don't know what that was for. They'll have to bring it back. Well, Riverside have taken some good marks already around the ground. And Captain Kenny returns the ball. They look long towards Magnuson at centre half forward. Magnuson's up. Williams can't mark. It comes out. There's a fierce grab and a holding the ball decision. It goes to University. That looked a bit cruel. But Steve Parker was the one who put the good tackle on. He goes out wide, looking towards Eckert, who can't mark what he should have taken. Now possesses the ball superbly and kicks long and high, and out comes Eaton and takes a strong mark. And he looks long towards Tasker and Dad's, but a strong mark in front again, and I think that's Kretschmer. No, it's Pedersen. And he gets a penalty. And now is a chance to bring it back towards the centre of the ground. A low kick. It doesn't find anyone in particular. Tips to Hall's in there. He can't possess. Foster's in there. He drops it and then gets a free kick, and that was very lucky, Keg Foster. You're not playing reserve grade football now. This is a serious grade, and you're lucky to get away with that. And the penalty, a 15-metre one. You're lucky to get that one as well, Keg Foster. Down to the front edge of the square. The lumbering Magnuson stands the mark. And the lead is on. Is it towards Tasker? It is. It's too far for that player. And well marked by Pedersen, I think, who comes out towards the boundary line. Whitney Houston is one of the players leading the race, but it beats them all out. It's OB, and we're 3 minutes into the first quarter with Riverside leading 6 points to nothing. And club chairman John Homburg running messages there. Back to the boundary, it comes out, well tackled Dads. That was a strong possession, but finally it's knocked out of bounds by the Whitney Houston, and in fact it's out on the full. And Mark Hamill, straight out of Star Wars, will kick a long one towards centre half forward. Magnuson comes out, drops what he should have taken, a poor possession. That was a throw, but it's well possessed by Parker, who straightens up and goes towards centre half forward, where Schultz is out of position. The man in front, Eckert, nearly took a strong one. It hits the ground and Kretschmer comes clear and does it easily and puts a long wide handball out to Green. And Coles on the centre wing takes a strong mark over big Bruce Kane's, whose knee looks very heavily strapped there. It's a benefit for Elastoplast with a penalty, a 15-metre one this time. And umpires, I think, are trying to assert their authority, and I really don't think that's the umpire's role in life, although they love it. And lucky not to have another 15-metre there. They're finally sorted out, and Coles will take the kick. The Irishman goes short and finds Kretschmer drifting down from the half-back line. Antonello, the smallest number in amateur league history, is standing the mark. It goes long towards full forward, but Costa takes a very strong mark, and he's opened up very well, and he'll get a penalty. And Magnuson showing early frustration here as Foster brings it out. Mick Eaton on the long wide lead is outmarked by a very good mark to Hoffner, who beat Kenny pointless on that occasion. And Manu on the wing sends tips to Hall back on the mark, and then looks long and goes too long, and it's out of bounds. And we're 5 minutes into the first quarter and still 6 points to nothing. And with me in the commentary box for his comments, here's Chocker.
Thank you, Young. Certainly Riverside have settled down more quickly at the opening stages of this game. They've made less mistakes, giving less 15-metre penalties away and using the ball better. And as I say that, Butch Lowry puts through their second goal for the quarter.
And Chocker, they look almost a bit small, University. They're not taking good positions in the forward lines. That half forward line is hardly out of possession to date. That must be a worrying sign for Coach Griffin.
Yeah, Foster's the only one who's been able to get the grab out the air so far. Riverside have taken several marks.
Back in the centre, and it's umpire Robertson who has command this time of the football. He puts it into orbit. Keynes wins yet another tap. Hall can't get yet another tap off the ground. It's Riverside going forward. The brick outhouse leads comfortably towards it and puts a long, wide, aimless handball out. Manuel drops on the tackle and then looks long towards centre half forward. Out comes Parker, read it superbly, straightened up wonderfully. That was great football, Stephen Parker. It's kicked towards centre half forward. There'll be a Riverside free kick and they're killing them. They're killing them across half back at the moment as we welcome the married man to the game, King Carruthers. Riverside forward towards centre half forward. The lumbering Mick Hamill can't take that one. That looked like a throw, but it's not picked up by Robertson. That was a poor miss. And it's going to be Hall leading the race. He sees it over the line, and it's a throw in the Riverside half-forward line. 7 minutes first quarter. It's 12-0. 2 goals, Riverside from 2 kicks.
Well done, young. Tell me all about it later.
Forwards full forward. Lowry. Another chance for Lowry. He kicks and kicks very well indeed. Well shepherded by the big man Simons. And Riverside have got a very handy break here after 8 minutes of the first term, with Lowry with 2 left foot goals and Captain Montgomery with 1. They lead 18-0, and Coach Griffin must be worried.
Yes, Riverside have maximised the use of the ball. There's no doubt about that. They've kicked the ball nicely to position. They've taken the grabs and they've kicked accurately for goal. And Uni are going to have to fight their way back into this game.
Well, Lowry's had 2 kicks, and I don't think as yet Hall has had a meaningful possession. Another Keynes tap and get another Riverside possession out of the centre. They'll take this one with a free kick to Hoffner. And he'll look long towards the lumbering centre half forwards, Hamill or Magnuson. It's Hamill this time, and that's a good thumping punch back. The dirtiest shorts in amateur league football for University. Bland doesn't take what he should have. It goes to Whaley. He stick is too slow. Keg Foster knows all about it, takes it well to the dirty shorts. They go, those the ball. Eaton in front, he's spoiled. Does he get it on the second grab? Not paid. Antonello tackled high, but that wasn't paid.
Green to Manuel.
It was cleared by Green to Manuel. Well tackled, Corey Williams. You deserved a free kick and didn't get it. Kenny, well done. It goes out and taken by Schultz. The long lead, and that is Moy. And this is the first constructive move University have had all day. He centres a very, very high ball. Tasker had no hope, although he tried very hard. Dad should have got a free kick but didn't. And there'll be a ball up, and it's centre half forward for Uni. And they need a goal desperately here, although it's very early days, and they trail by this margin of 3 goals to nothing. And Keynes again, this time doesn't get the tap, but there's no one there for Riverside. Out comes Bland, good possession, handball was a poor one. A strong tackle by Antonello, and holding the ball is paid, and a wonderful tackle by Antonello. That was good, competitive, strong and disciplined University football, and I'm sure Coach Griffin will be delighted with that. And Antonello is backing himself from a big distance here to kick the University first goal of the afternoon. He goes for those socks. He goes for the tape. He removes the tape. It's all happening here with this kick from Antonello.
Cook's about
55 metres out. Cook's already on the water jug and he hasn't been on the field yet. Antonello kick will land short and wide, and there's nobody in front. And Martinovic comes out with the ball towards the back pocket, and he repossesses his own handball and goes inside to the Critter, and the Critter runs his full 15 and goes out towards the wing where there's no one there, and big Bruce Keynes tries out that knee and is going to shepherd for Schultz, who now comes back inboard and kicks long towards centre forward. That's a short pass and finds Kenny, and the captain will have his second possession of the day. The wonderful kicking skills of Mick Kenny let him down there. It goes towards Dads, who's beaten pointless and in fact concedes the free kick in the back pocket. And they seem to be falling down at the moment across half forward and in the full forward line where the ball has not come down well. Riverside back towards the centre of the ground. Foster sets himself, but Hamill takes a strong one in front and looks to play on and does, and the handball was a shocker. Out comes Bland and should take a free kick but didn't. And well might you complain, Stephen Bland, that was poor umpiring. Now it comes out towards Whitney Houston. He can't possess the ball. He still can't possess the ball. It's on the ground. In goes a number of players. Foster comes out with it, but you might as well have a glass of beer in your hand, because you can't do anything with it at the moment, as umpire Robertson says, I'll have it, and puts the ball back into orbit. It's Hamill and Keynes wins another one, and this time it goes to a University player, and Hall can't get a ball. It must be a free kick to Antonello. It is. There's an altercation on the pivot. Eckert is having his nose rubbed in the ground by Gill. Parker comes out, the best University player to date. His kick towards Tasker is just a fraction too far. Dadge is too slow, and it comes out, and again Riverside will clear, and they've got men to spare. Parker followed it down the ground well and applies the pressure, but all in vain. Out comes the Martinovic now, goes towards the centre of the ground. That looked like Hoffner, and then gets it on to, I'm not entirely certain who, but Lowry, a lunging attempt at that one, misses, and the ball goes out of bounds. And there's one very relieved John Parker about that. He's had 2 goals kicked on him to date, and at the 13-minute mark, halfway through the first quarter, for his comments, here's Chocker.
No doubt about it, Riverside still using the ball much better, moving it down the ground with a lot of system. The way they brought the ball out of defence there was very impressive.
Parker, a scrubber's kick, and it's falls for a scrubber's kick good in opposition territory. A wonderful attempt there, I think, by Williams. Certainly smothered the ball up, and then Corey Williams has had an inspired opening 13 and a half minutes here at beautiful Adelaide Oval. And it's a very well good-natured crowd here. You wouldn't fill Football Park, Westlake Entertainment Stadium with this crowd. And you wouldn't make money touring Dire Straits with a crowd like this, but nonetheless, it's very well natured, enjoying this game in perfect conditions here at the home of football. A throw in, Hamill and Kane shared the tap, hit both them on the shoulder, and it'll go out of bounds. Will there be a bounce? There will be a bounce. Umpire Robertson, I think this one. He will put this one back into the air. Keynes again, beaten. It goes out of bounds. And it's ugly, ugly football on that far side of the oval at present. Nobody can get a clear break. Good loft to throw in. It finds Eckert at the back. His kick is quick, a little too quick. Is it a mark? Not paid. Now it is. Oh, late decision, umpire. Very late decision. And they've had the better of it, Riverside, so far with the umpiring. I think that was Pedersen came out towards the flank. Kenny takes a strong one. He beat Magnuson pointless there, and the captain started to play a good game. He now straightens up towards centre half forward. A perfect foot pass found Eaton, but it must have been touched off the boot. Otherwise it was perfect. Now they come clear of Riverside into the far forward line. Out comes Whaley and takes a strong one, and he won't be allowed clear by Montgomery, who looks to be his opponent at present, and Whaley's kick is a pretty ordinary one towards centre half forward. The kicks are too high, and they're floating far too much, and Eckert's been robbed of this one by an infringement, I think, via the dads, and Hoffner brings it back towards the centre ground. This is another floating kick. Not much open football here at the moment. A thumping punch from Whaley was great football. Out comes Riverside again. They go forward. Well done, Stephen Parker. That was the play of the day. He turned around superbly. Hamill out towards the pocket. Parker thumped and didn't hit the ball. He's got to cover his error here. He does it superbly now. He'll look for the boundary line and then sits on it. And he's pinged in a harsh decision. But he really didn't make the attempt he might have.
Move back 2 rows.
And a little movement in the commentary position there. The kick for goal is across the face, and 3-1 behind. And still University have not scored, and we've had 17 minutes of this first quarter. And Riverside, kicking with the agency of this light breeze, are doing all the attacking, and are certainly playing better forward football. Schultz holds onto the ball too long, and his kick is only an ordinary one. Whitney Houston a good thump on. The running, jumping, bouncing Steve Boy looks to be pouncing on that one, but he doesn't, and it's out of bounds. Right on the centre wing, with Riverside leading 19-0. Cook on the field, gets the tap towards Bland. He's got plenty of options. No, it's a high one to Kenny. He can go out very wide, but that was too adventurous. Manuel's tackled. Is he going to be pinged this time? No, it looked inconsistent umpiring. There will be a bounce. It's centre half forward for Riverside. And McKenny, with so many options available there, really didn't make the most of them. And Uni off to a disappointing start to date. Kenny tries a right foot kick that time. That didn't go far. We all predicted that. Kenny, and this time Williams leads in the race. And Eckert will beat him to it. Williams drops back for the next play, but it's Riverside again that are more determined on the ground. Then they set up the play with a nice handball towards Salvamini. He goes forward towards centre half forward. Williams straightens up. Beautifully spoiled by Parker. Lowry was on toast there, and the ball was knocked forward again. Lowry a chance. James is hot in attendance. Is there going to be a throw in? Well picked up and delivered by James. And finally there is a holding the ball decision. It goes to Uni. And McKenny, who's opened very impressively on the wing, steps around his player and did that superbly towards Eaton, and it's out of bounds.
Conditions perfect here at Adelaide over today. Lovely sunshine, ground in good condition. University not making the most of it. They've taken a long while to settle down. Let's hope they produce something from here onwards.
The throw is nullified. Kenny's already predicting the play before he gets the ball, and that was brave stuff. Stephen Moy drops what he should have taken, then gets it on the ground, but it's out of bounds. And University have gone from really not producing good skills early on to now trying to do a bit too much to try and get themselves a little more competitive.
Winning in the rucks too.
Kick is forward and it's taken by Gill with his few possessions to date. Lowry on the lead. Parker follows him. It's a long kick. Simon's out of position badly. Williams takes it. Lowry snaps again and puts through behind. Well, I don't know how long they can go on with John Parker standing Lowry. He must have had half a dozen possessions already in the quarter. Parker's being pinged once for holding the ball. And he's looking at their Achilles heel down there. The kick from James was a bit excitable, but Bland took a strong one and a courageous one. And now plays on around the lumbering Hamill and did that easily, but the kick is a shocker. And forward they go through the brandy. Up towards full forward, James spoils well. Again Lowry possession. Again he has a shot for goal. And again this time it's a pass. And he's taking them apart on that full forward line. And I can't pick up who's got the kick.
Peter Williams.
Williams has the kick. Started on the flank. And he's no more than 10 yards out. He should ram Riverside's fourth at the 20-minute mark, and does.
Well, a disastrous start for the Blacks. Down 4 goals. I don't know what the breeze is like out there, whether it's favouring that end. Riverside won the toss and kicked to that end. Uni's going to have to show a bit of character from here onwards.
Well, no change made to the full back line. Parker remains on Lowry. And Robertson gets the ball back into motion. Hamill tackled hard, and there'll be another throw up. Centre of the ground. Cook is on the field. Kane's resting. Cook takes on Hamill. Possibly should have got a free kick. A good possession nonetheless. Comes out towards Houston. Houston looked twice at what was coming at him, and that wasn't good football. Hamill now kicks long towards full forward. Out comes James and takes a strong one, and in fact rebounded superbly and kicks out towards Schultz, who leads his opponent by yards. Kretschmer, but misses what he should have taken. Now comes up well with it. The kick is another poor one. Error in defence there by Riverside there first, but they come out of it now. They come back across the wing and finds Green. Houston tackles him hard. Tasker's coming a long way up the ground for a possession. Dad's tackle's a bit soft. Out comes towards Moy. Moy towards Tasker. He's held and not in possession. Cook gets a scrubbing kick forward. A chance here for Schultz, knocks it on. Hall can't possess, neither can Houston. Out comes Green, and they got space again as Kretschmer will, if he can pick it up. He does now. Brings the ball back towards Ashby. Ashby kicks up towards the centre wing where Corey Williams is behind his opponent Manuel, who takes the mark. 22 minutes, first quarter. It's 26-0. Riverside doing everything right at the moment. And that was nearly a great mark. Parker kept his cool and did it well. Bland too slow. Out comes Legrandi. He's picked up and Eckert knocks the ball towards the wing. Kenny holds his ground and takes a very courageous mark. Well done, McKenny, your best of field in the first quarter for Uni. Dads has his first possession. He's got Eaton in space. Will he get a penalty? He's going to take it. And that brings mums and dads within kicking range. And this is the first shot, almost the first kick Uni have had from this range for the game. And perhaps we'll get a view here, Chocker, of how strong this wind is. He's about 30 metres out, 35 metres when he kicks. He's been one of the stars of the university here. His kick floats
up in the breeze
and doesn't get there, but it is the university first score. They reduce the margin to 25 points. And Dads has done pretty well with his first possession there for the afternoon.
Colin Nelson will bring the ball in for Riverside, kicking towards the
Grandstand side, Tasker well out from goal. Picked up by Eaton, who will straighten it round. Dad's the possession. Hall rises high but couldn't grab it. Out comes Salvamini. They'll clear it again, Riverside. There's not a lot of action out there. Corey Williams will be first there at the boundary line. Doesn't beat him, it does. And it's out of bounds, and we're just entering the time-on period in the first quarter. Chock-a-block.
Well, the Riverside defence has really been awesome, the way they've one-handled the ball all the time, brought it out with constant ease, found the player further downfield. They've certainly settled down very quickly. Maybe Uni will come back into it in the second quarter.
Bland straightens it across. Here's a very big chance that Cook can get the ball on quickly. He's far too slow. A dreadful error. Houston puts one of the best tackles of the day you'd ever see, in fact. And Whitney Houston, he's not half the looker he is on the record covers, but that kick looks good towards Tasker. He's too slow. He's been beaten for pace so far. Hall can't get in the game. Moy will bustle his way through. Even he looked sideways at that point. Hall keeps it in play, and finally it's out of bounds in the very deep Adelaide Oval forward pocket. And they're looking around them, Chocker. They're not attacking that ball, they're looking around at what someone else is going to do.
They haven't settled down at all.
Some smart things, and it's not coming off. Salvamini sees the ball out. Beaton goes for the tap, he's beaten. Again, the Riverside defence dominates. The kick is wide. And it's out of bounds.
Parker's playing very well, and Williams is attending him very closely. Williams has kicked the goal, but Parker's done a lot of good things.
Parker and Kenny, the two superstars of the university first quarter here. Hamill held her from position well, but Moy gets it. His kick is not as accurate as it might have been. Dads can't get possession, and that's out of bounds. And again, just a hurried possession at the end of it all. I think the idea to bring it back towards the centre was right, but it was too low to give Dads a chance to have a full run of it. Trying again, Ethan bullocks his way well. It comes out by Ashby to Kretschmer. Kenny takes a strong one, no, not paid, and finally the ball's out of bounds. Kenny, his 12th possession in the first quarter. That was a superb handle to Bland, but you're just a fraction too slow, and that's the way the umpire saw it. And Riverside will clear it. It's Salvamini again, and he's had a number of possessions in this first quarter and done most things right. The helmet with one goes wide. Out comes Foster and takes a strong one. He's holding centre half back pretty comfortably at the moment, Foster.
Yes, they're changing the rucks at centre half forward. So
Martinovic repossesses and gets it onto the critter, who's tackled and tackled well, and there'll be another bounce. We're 27 minutes in to the first quarter here in the A1 Grand Final for 1986. It's Riverside leading by 25 points. It's 26-1. And it's been ugly, ugly football on that far side of the ground. Now Corey Williams is going to do something brilliant. He bustles, he sprints and does it superbly, and then kicks very, very high. And Elson takes a strong one. And then clears towards the centre half back position, but that signals the end of the first quarter. And Riverside lead 26-1. And for his comments, Fred Block.
well, there's no doubt about it. It was Riverside's quarter, kicking 4 goals, 2 to the solitary behind. For the first 20 minutes of that quarter, they absolutely dominated play by setting everything up from across half back, where they brought the ball out with a great deal of dash, always used the ball well, and when they had a goal-scoring opportunity, they really maximised their chances. Uni take a long time to settle down. The last 5 minutes of that quarter, they were in it much better. So a lot of players started coming into the game. Mick Kenny was burning on the wing, Steve Parker on the half-back flank. The forwards were finding it difficult to get into the game, but the ruck started to get a few taps towards the end of the quarter. Moisey took the ball away a few times. There's some signs there that they might be able to improve in this second quarter.
Start of the second quarter, umpire Cranwell will recommence the proceedings. He's just waiting for this very good-natured university crowd to leave the field. The playing arena cleared. Cranwell checks with the captains. It's 25-1. Riverside leading 4-2 to 1 point. And University going to the northern end this quarter. Williams looks like he's come up into the centre of the ground. Dads has been pushed into the back lines onto Lowry, and Lowry gets the first kick of the quarter. James is back and takes a good mark. He's done well what he's had to do so far. James, and he comes out looking for one. He finds him and moves aplenty, I suspect. As we look around the ground, we see Pavlovsky carrying blue bandage in the forward pocket.
Land's been moved to the pocket, it looks like. He's on Martinovic.
And out comes Riverside. They clear towards centre half forward. The kick is a long one. Parker caught underneath it. Lowry leads in the race. Where's his opponent? He comes up towards centre half forward and finds Gill. And Keynes will stand the mark, and Gill thinks he can kick it from there. Well, I can tell you, Alan Gill, Anton Antonello did not do it there from there in the first quarter. This could be a sheer act of optimism. And after a long pause, the kick floats and floats wide. The minor result, it's 27-1. And it looks like Foster's gone to centre half forward. It's Williams to centre half back. So we look at him, get him to fine possession and take a wonderful piece of football from Corey Williams. He deserved a free kick. He's legged. He did everything right, Corey Williams. That was the play of the day. He goes out towards Hall, who has his first kick of the day, towards centre half forward, but Green holds his ground, and despite Nose Eckert putting in a Scott Salisbury tackle, there was a strong mark. Now he's off. He goes out towards the grandstand wing. He gets round Eckert, runs a long way, and now kicks long towards the pocket. Nello up in front. It's Whaley. He takes possession in University. A few more players running at the ball now. Schultz kicks long up towards centre half forward. Foster,
3-1.
3-1 against him. He's got a big kick. And perhaps a fraction fortunate to get that, but for the side in general, because that ball would have been running well away from him with 3-1 against him. And these Coach Griffin moves are hopefully going to work soon. There's space there for Tester to lead into this pocket. Eaton on the move, Hall's on the move. Foster says, I can go all the way, boys. And puts it very, very high. It's on the ground, there'll be a bounce. No, a free kick. No, it's a bounce. I thought there was a single over the shoulder there, it looked a bit optimistic. Tasker gets the tap, it's picked up, and the shot for goal is a sensation by the University number 10, Pavlovsky. Well, he was brought into the season late to bolster the running and skillful side of the team. And in his first possession in the A1 Grand Final, Pavlovsky rams one of the best goals you could ever hope to see or kick in a Grand Final. And University now trail by 20 points, 1-1 to 4-3. And Chocker, a better start to the second quarter.
Much better start, better use of the ball, more desperation. Again though, Riverside win the tap out of the square.
Coles brings the ball forward, out wide looking for Lowry. Dads is beaten for speed on that occasion, that's no compliment. Lowry puts a spearing pass in towards, that's
Magnuson, I think.
It was Magnuson, was it? And then he's got a free kick. Well, umpire Cranwell has really not endeared himself to the University crowd.
Jeff Manuel, I think.
Manuel will take the kick. They've been pinged for a high tackle on this occasion. They were pinged for a hold in the ball in the forward pocket in their own back pocket earlier on. And it's not having the better of it at the moment. Manuel's kick is a good one. And they resume their 26-point lead. And we're 4 minutes into this second quarter. Roberts in the centre, and Keynes is back on the football field. He looked very poppy on the knee there, Bruce Keynes. Stephen Moy takes them on and does it superbly, and Hall kicks along towards centre half forward. Pavlovsky's out, he can't get to the bounce of the ball, and then he stops, and then he plays for the free kick and gets it. And well done, Pavlovsky. We've made a wonderful impact of this game in the first 5 minutes of the second quarter. The long wide kick, eaten just a bit unfortunately, and Hoffner has chipped in front and stops a very promising attack. Now Riverside make an error. The critter clears, and Parker takes the mark and straightens up and does that superbly and goes wide for Eaton, who's got some space, and he's got Ecken on his inside and straightens it back, and Tasker can't mark it through Foster, and Pedersen will clear again towards the centre wing for Uni, and Kenny takes the mark in front, and Kenny now plays onto that left foot and then goes to Schultz, and that was good football, and Schultz has time to steady, but there's no one down there, and Martinovic, was it, drops what he should have taken. Superbly by Tasker. That was all skill from Sean Tasker, who came from behind, has not got off to a good start, but that was one tremendous University persistence and courage, and Tasker a chance to get his side back into this football game. He'll be kicking straight at the JM for insurance sign on top of the scoreboard. He's a wonderful kick for goal. And this one just slightly offline. A big leap not played, but it's a mark. Now I think that's Hamill, who outmarked Eckert, who put the big leap in, and Hamill brings it straight out of the ground. That was a wise, and not a very wise move. Keynes looks proppy. Schultz doesn't possess what he should have. Through comes Whaley and takes the ball well. Bland puts on the tackle. It comes back to Schultz, who's again a bit slow on the handle, but now Whaley's got a chance. He goes round them and then straightens it up. Tasker at the back. picked up by Eckert. That was a good, clever kick. Tasker a chance to possess, but there's no one there to assist him. It's 4-1 against. It's 4-1 against him. And by the time Foster came in, he conceded the free. And it looks like Salvamini, is it?
Yes.
Chocker will clear from the full back line towards Kenny. Nearly a strong mark taken by Manuel. And Kenny's given him a bath today, although Manuel has kicked that one goal at the start of this quarter. Haynes again works to the front in front of Hamill. Moy is tackled and didn't have the ball. And he's sure to be looking for a lead, and Tasker's on it. But he goes deep into the pocket looking for Eaton, and will find him. And Eaton has been brought around. He's on a very acute angle, and I'm not entirely certain that was the better lead to go for. He brings it towards the front of the square. No possession, but a mark to Foster. And Peg Foster, with a penalty, will show what worth he's bringing into this side after his short stint to the Port Adelaide reserves. He'll have a kick for goal from about 4 yards out on a tight angle. He rams it, and University are back to within 20 points, and Foster has won. And we're 8 minutes into the second quarter, and chock-a-block, it's all looking a lot better now.
Yes, there still look to be more Riverside runners around the ball, but if the Blacks can just use the ball a bit better, make less errors, they're only 3 down, they can still get back into this game.
Now Pavlovsky's gone into the square. Williams is in the square. And I think other than Pavlovsky, I think Griffin has decided you put your strongest and your toughest men in the pivot, and you just get that ball out through hard work and strength. And Keynes is up and he's beaten by Magnuson this time. Riverside do clear. Parker is chasing Williams, and Williams does beat him that time. The pass inside doesn't find Pedersen, but he does possess it well. Labrandy straightens up towards full forward. James is the tussle. Simons was holding James, and James will have the free kick. No, it's Hamill. He must be at full forward.
I think they're changing the rucks at full forward. Simon's going to centre half forward.
Well, it's an interesting change because Foster won that position at centre half forward, centre half back so comfortably in the first quarter. A relayed free kick finds Whitney Houston, and he's got Williams in space, in wonderful space. Bland puts a strong tackle on. Williams fakes it. The handball straightens up not all that well. There'll be a throw in the forward pocket. Well, Bland might have been better served to run in support of Williams for the possession rather than the thump.
Keynes limping off.
Keynes really not right with that knee. Certainly a right knee, but he's not right with it. Eaton up, out towards Pavlovsky. He's done some skillful things already, but that one wasn't so good and was out of bounds. And a free kick, an indiscretion, and Pavlovsky, who seems to be worrying the Riverside players, with a new element into the game. Coach Griffin off his bench, and John Homburg, chief chef this morning at the wonderful Breakfast with the Stars, is now in motion. Not sure going where. The pass is a good one, and Trevor Tipster Hall will have a shot from 30 metres out.
Also known as Smurf.
Smurf Hall. You wonder why until you say it. But they're having these shots from goal from very tight positions. But Hall is a wonderfully skilled footballer. He locks it up high into the square. Foster takes a strong position and just takes a strong mark with a penalty.
Quickly give it away. You fool.
And Foster has taken a very strong mark and will keep his free kick despite Cook going in there on a leveller. And all of a sudden, the University forward line has a bit more purpose. It has some targets, and Foster is the principal one. It has Pavlovsky taking some big possessions around the ground. Foster straightens up. He rams his second.
Took it over the scoreboard. Past the scoreboard in the west up there.
And it's back to 14 points, the margin. And Riverside have moved their rucks from centre half forward to full forward. Griffin in response, or off his own bat, put Foster to centre half forward for Uni. And all of a sudden, this game is starting to look much more balanced. And it's a rowdy University crowd now who are sensing a great revival. Foster let them all out. Martinovic gets the kick. Antonello should get there, he doesn't. Montgomery dropped what he should have taken. Wiley sees it through with courage, and Manuel knocks it out. And now we've got a football game on our hands. I don't know what we had before, but it's the sort of phrase that Gary Window uses, and he should know. Cook's got a lot of hard work to do for the rest of the day, with Payne's in trouble. The kick is forward, and Montgomery takes one of his few kicks, I think, here. Though he kicked the first goal of the game. After 2 minutes, the kick is out, looking for Hamill. He's well spoiled by James, and the ball will go out of bounds.
Good play by Dadsy. James is playing well back there.
Well, it seems to have the rucks under control full forward. He had Simons under control in the first quarter down there.
Hamill's playing well in ruck for Riverside.
And I think, well, Dad seems to be running a little bit more mobility down there. I think Parker's been taken from the ground after what's been a pretty shattering first quarter. And it's out of bounds again. But can't help but think that full forward line might be a little more top heavy with the ruckman down there. And as a result, I think Riverside not getting the movement they had in the first quarter.
Williams again.
You'll see it out of bounds with Foster well down the ground and playing a fine game. And Foster will come back to check the resting ruckman who's playing out on the ground. Eckert gets a half kick forward, then he gets a push, then he gets a tap, and finally it's an ugly scrimmage in front of the public stands, and there'll be another ball up. Cook beaten again by Hamill. And another ugly pack. Not pretty football. We're 15 minutes into the second quarter. Fred Block, how do you see it at the moment?
Game's settled down now with both sides winning the equal number of possessions. Uni just can't afford to let Ribbies get a couple, but try and get one back themselves just to keep edging away, get closer.
Schultz is the one who gets the possession out of that scrimmage. Houston leads in the race. He does that
too much
well.
pace for Green.
And Green better in the air so far, but Houston better on the ground. Pavlovsky might get another free kick. Instead, it's a superb possession. Oh, but Houston misses what he should have taken. Now Soccer's long. Does this open up some space? Out comes Moy and concedes the free kick. Well, Kretschmer, I think, deserved that without any doubt. Moy getting to umpire Cranmore and saying, "You idiot." But I think that was right. He goes out and finds Gill. His handball is only an ordinary one. Williams is superb, and if he can get that on, he gets a trip and takes the free kick and plays on. This could be the goal of the day as he rams it down the ground. What a sensational goal. Well, Corey Williams has opened up superbly, but that in his role in the centre was clearly the best single piece of play for the day. The smother of the handball was superb, the courageous and dedicated approach in the ball that followed thereafter, and once with the free kick and in the clear, he lined them up from 35 metres and rammed a peach. He's backing it again, is Corey Williams. The outhouse is doing everything right out there. And University back to within 8 points. They've had a very good quarter. They kicked 4 goals to 1. And Coach Griffin's moves are working brilliantly to date. He's got a winning centreman with Williams. He's got a winning centre half forward with Foster. He's held him together on that full back line. And all of a sudden it looks danger spots all around the ground. Antonello does it well. Kenny is winning his wing comfortably. In fact, he's doing it superbly. Moy out of position there, but nearly did it well. Bland will come through. He's taken on by Magnuson and missed. Now he's taken on by Martinovic, was it? It comes out.
No, it's
towards
Coles.
Towards centre half forward. Out comes James. That was courageous and confident, and that's what University need. Montgomery tackled. Beautifully possessed by Schultz. He comes out and looking for Houston. It's too wide. And the owner of that car has been forever immortalised in this premiership tape. Congratulations, Riverside go forward. It's a good spearing kick which Forts clutches James out, but he's got some yardage on his opponent. Now that he's got the ruck resting on him, he'll see it out towards the boundary line, and that was good football again. And Gadira is lining up on the sidelines to come on.
Lowry
is coming off. As Lowry puts through a point. They had 21 on the field, now it's back to 20. Magnuson off, and looks like he might be carrying.
No, he's just not playing well. I think they're going to go with Hamill in the ruck. Use another player around the ground.
Well, there might be some sense in that because they're getting badly beaten away from Hamill, especially behind the play. And James is holding full forward, a full-back position very well. And that's a good wide lead by Eckert. That's someone talking who knows all about wide leads. And that ball out towards the centre of the ground, that kick wasn't all that good. It missed Williams. And Lebrandi will take the kick. Here's the long kick. Out comes James and nearly took a straight one. It comes out to Montgomery. He splits around the corner, and that was lucky. Gadira on for 1 minute and has his first kick from a very lucky possession. And University really can't afford this to go through. In fact, it doesn't. That was poorly done. And Kenny will have another possession. He runs it wide, looking for Houston, and he should have taken it, and then he didn't, and it's out of bounds. Well, a complete assault on that football and a complete assault on that Riverside player wouldn't have gone astray there, I think, from Whitney Houston. The mechanic didn't do well. And the strong one, Nick Hamill, will take another free kick. He's got some space there. Antonello comes out, spoils well, a little bit ordinary that spoil. Antonello tackles well. That park out from James with a good one. Williams makes his only error of the day, but that handball was superb. And now Moy has space, and he looks long towards Eaton, and the arms are up. He's got 2-1 against him. Have lost. He goes in like an ice skater. He's still in there, but that was well cleared. To Ashby. Ashby out and knocked on without any purpose at all. But there are Riverside men there. Looks like Rivera again. He's too slow. They're forward towards full forward. Lowry, beautifully tackled by Dads. Coles spearing past across fines. Does nothing more than find the University skipper and best man afield, who's won his wing comfortably. His opponent is 65 yards away, and now we'll go for a little run with the football. That pass is not good, but Houston does it superbly. And Whaley says, "Get out of my way, number 10. You are a thug." And then knocks the ball wide and does that pretty soundly, a good kick to touch. Mick Eaton might have seen some other merits in the past to him, but a kick to touch it was. It's on the wing. University trailed by 9 points. It's 34 to 25. We're 23 minutes into the second quarter. Cook is tackled. Martinovic is tackled. He hasn't got it, but he'll still come out with it. The good wide handball to Kretschmer. He goes back into trouble and then finds Coles. He straightens up and the kick was only ordinary. Out comes and Hoffner puts through a goal that Marina University could have well done without. And Riverside just having the better of the last 5 minutes. They've kicked 1 goal too in that period. And they now lead 40 points to 25. 6-4 to 4-1. Points the margin, and we're just approaching the time on period of this second quarter. First hour of football is almost up. Antonello, who's played a lot better in the second quarter, gets out to Schultz, who's played very well. The kick was only ordinary, and it's marked on the half-back line. And Riverside get a free kick. Schultz will hand it back to Hoffner. Whose pass is well intercepted by James, who dropped what he should have taken, and then concedes a free kick where he should have. Umpire Cran was a bit slow on that one. Can University bring it out? They can't. It's courageous football going in there from the Riverside. There'll be a bounce. Forward pocket. Into time on second quarter. And 15 points the margin. Here's Chocker.
The Blacks are definitely back in it. They've still got the advantage of this breeze. I reckon it's worth about 3 goals, that breeze. And they can't afford to let Riverside kick a couple here late in the second quarter.
Montgomery. Long kick to full forward. Antonello, the professional, concedes the behind. And that extends their lead to 16 points. And James, who has played a wonderful game, looks wide. The lead is from Tasker. He's nearly outmarked by Manuel, and that would have been a travesty. And the ball will be bounced on the half-back line. And it looks like Eckert's gone to full forward. And Tasker
on the ball.
Taps on the ball. He got that tap. Perhaps that's exactly what's happened, Fred. With Payne's in trouble on the bench. Goodera gets the handball out. Manuel just sees the ball out of bounds, and that's the only thing Manuel's done so far today is put the ball out of bounds. It's come from his knee, it's come from his shoulder. But the man who's taken him apart is the University captain, Michael, no nickname, Caliphus Kenny, who has dominated the first hour of football here.
Lee's supposed to be in the forward pocket, I think.
The wonderful...
he's brought Martinovic into the play.
Martinovic gets that kick. James does well. A wonderful possession from Parker, who goes for touch and did that superbly. And although Houston was in the lead, that was cool football from the former Sturt half-back flanker in that role here today and doing it well. Knockout comes. Williams holds his ground and should take a free and does. Played for that. Got the tackle and richly deserved Corey Williams. You've been a star in this first half. You're holding on the ball a bit long here, son. Now use it long. That's a good kick. It floats a bit. Noyes up looking for a possession, but Hall did superbly. He left loose with a daisy cutter that finds Bland, and he can go long up towards Pavlovsky, and here's a real chance, but he couldn't grab it. And Coles will clear. No, it's out of bounds, and that was probably a saving grace.
There won't be much time on in this quarter.
We're 2 minutes into the extra time. Tasker, a thumping punch. Great football. Out of bounds again, forward pocket. And a very deliberate throw in there. Tasker again, a thumping punch. Well, it's got to be a chance of opening up the play. Unfortunately, this time it's Riverside. He kicks out towards University's best man to date, Kenny. I'll back that left foot any time. He does it superbly, then a bit slow, and then gutters up again. Comes out. Oh, well.
Should have played the first one.
Yeah, I think that's right. He should have played the first one. The second one was never there. Antonello takes a wonderful grab. He's coming into his own as the All-Australian in the second quarter. His kick up towards Eckert, who nearly got into wonderful position. It was a strong attempt. It's out towards Green. He looks up towards the centre of the ground. There's plenty of options. Gill will take this one. He comes inside to Martinovic, whose kick is only ordinary, but Larry does take a strong mark. And now plays on.
He's off.
And now plays on. Oh, no, he doesn't. He goes a short pass. And Gill drops down and takes it. And oh dear. Well, that was the worst thing that could have happened. Gill will have the last kick to win the first hour of football here at Adelaide Oval. It's a kick to reside the lead at half-time. It currently resides at the 16-point barrier. And Gill makes it 17 points. At half-time, Riverside leads 6-6. University are 4-1. It's 42-25, 17-point lead. And very quickly for his half-time comments, here's Chocker.
Much better second quarter by the Blacks, much more desperation, much better teamwork. The shuffles by Coach Griffin worked much better. Foster the centre half forward, Williams getting a run in the middle, Tasker a run on the ball. They still got the job in front of them. Riverside will come out in the second half with a lead and determined to preserve it. But the University team's got all the talent, and it's just a question of getting their confidence up, and they can still win this game and win it very well.
Peter Waring, Mark Waring. Mark just give me an elbow, and I can understand that. Perhaps the reason why I always say Peter Waring to everybody is because Peter was always one of my favourite players. But with me I have Mark, better known as Mousy to Riverside supporters and to his teammates. Mousy, what I'd like to know from you is, where do you think we're winning, and how do you think we're going to finish up for the second half? Who are the players that are going to give us the drive? Who's not playing so well? You know, just frank views of how you've seen it so far.
Well, Brian, I think the defence has been perfect. I don't think Noel would want much more from our defence. We haven't given uni forwards any chance to get into the game. Up forward in the second quarter, after such a good start in the first, we just seemed a little bit sluggish, and props a bit top heavy, and consequently Noel brought Tony Guider on, and he went to centre half forward and did give us a bit of run there. We just didn't quite capitalise enough. Centre square, we seem to be doing reasonably well there, but there's a couple of players that we're just coming forward to a bad second half from. Somebody like Alan Gill, who hasn't dominated the game like we know he can, even though he's contributed. If he can get into it, University will be in a lot of trouble. I think the Rovers, Ivan Cole's has done very well, giving us some bite there. Manuel and Green on the wings also.
What about David Simons at full forward? How do you see his game so far?
Yeah, David hasn't come into the game too well yet. He's battling hard. He'll always give you 100%, but the umpires aren't giving him much of a go either. He's getting in front spot, getting a bit of a push, but he just needs to get a couple of grabs he hasn't been able to take. Yeah,
and what about how do you see Peter Williams' game?
I thought Peter did a bit in the first quarter there. He kicked a goal and he looked a little bit damaging, but he faded out a little bit in that second quarter. And Peter's another one like Alan Gill. If he can get a few opportunities, he'll really make Riverside's way a lot easier.
How do you feel sitting out here watching it though?
Well, grand finals are always terrible to watch when you know that players have made that far. It's the ultimate, but it's still a good spectacle. You know, Rivies with Noel Lanier in charge are always going to give it a good shake, so you feel good as a supporter and member of the club anyway.
Do you think Noel will make any changes at half-time?
Yeah, I'm not real sure offhand at the moment, Brian, but I think all he can do is perhaps give Critter a bit more of a run, something like that. Ivan's done the bulk of the work there. But apart from that, I think there's no reason to panic or anything. We seem to be having a good hold of the game.
Okay, Mousy, if you had to give a 1-2-3 award for the first half of the game, who do you see as your 1-2-3 players?
Right, well, in defence, I think Marty Martinovic and Critter have both been put in very solid games. They've set us up time and time again. And perhaps up forward, I think Mark Hoffner's been in everything. He's really tried to give us some bite up there. So that will probably be my three, with our wingman, Jeff Manuel, putting in a good one, and Steve Green not too far behind him.
Yeah, fine. I've got a bit of a problem with Mark Hoffner. He gets to the ball often enough, but it's what he does with it after he gets it. It worries me because his handball delivery or whatever hasn't been on target.
Yeah, that's a point. If someone like Butch, I perhaps overlooked there, he's done a lot of damage for the amount of opportunities he's had. And the thing with Mark, though, he's always there in the finals in particular, and blokes perhaps like Peter and Grant, Montgomery, aren't quite in the game as much.
Do you think the half-back line, we know they're on top, they're well and truly on top, half-back line of Marty, Sally and Cretch, do you think that perhaps they could break the line a little bit further down the ground? In other words, what I'm saying is they're not breaking the line far enough. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, that's probably right, Brian. It's perhaps our run-on players aren't really setting up the game. As I mentioned, Alan's not quite into it yet. And Vinny, although he's working hard, he perhaps hasn't broken those lines, as you say.
I'm wondering if they could perhaps put Vinny into the centre and Gilly Ruck Road.
I personally would be a bit loath to do that, but it's always possible. The only thing that you were saying about moves is perhaps if Kimmy Kretschmer could have a run somehow, he tends to do that, breaks the game up. But we've got to find a replacement for him in half-back.
Okay, Mousy, thank you very much for that, for your comments. And we're about to start our game again, but thank you sincerely for it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the replay.
Thank you, Brian.
And there you are. I've got another guy with me, the coach of Broadview B grade, who we knocked out, and then Greenacres knocked them out, Butch Jones. Now, Butch has been around a long time in footy. Butch, how do you see this game so far?
Yeah, the way I look at it, Brian, I think the first two goals in this quarter are most important to Unis particularly. I think if they can get them, we can have a game on our hands, but if not, I think Rivies will run away with the game in the late in the third quarter and most of the last quarter, I would say.
Where do you believe Rivies are winning in at the moment?
I think it's generally their backline's holding very firm, apart from a couple of lapses when Unis ran into a couple of goals. But I think the backline's holding very firm, and they're starting to get on top in rut through Mick Hamill. And overall, I think the whole side's playing reasonably well within themselves. But as I say, the first couple of goals are vital in this first 10 minutes for Unis.
You have played in an A1 Grand Final and a premiership team, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right, Brian, with Broadview in 1980.
And who was your coach then?
Noel Lanier.
What do you think of Noel's coaching?
Yeah, I think his record speaks for itself. I think this is his 8th grand final in A1 in a row now, so you can't knock that record, that's for sure.
Can you understand why Noel Lanier's never been appointed state coach?
No, I've never gone into the politics of it, but I don't know if he's ever been asked or not. But no, you do ask yourself that question, I guess, once it comes to you.
Yeah, he did apply when Chops gave it away, you know, and they overlooked him for the bloke they got, which I couldn't understand, because I believe if ever a person's earned the state coaching position, I believe Noel Lanier has. How do you see that?
Well, I think, as I said, his record speaks for itself, and you have to agree with that comment, I suppose. There's not much else Noel could do to get a coaching job if he really wanted it.
Okay, thanks very much, Butch, and we're pleased for your comments, and we wish you all the best next year with Broadview. No doubt you'll still be there. Once again, as I said, Desi Russell, who's sitting behind me, he is exhausted. Perhaps I might be able to get him to talk about three-quarter time.
third quarter, and Riverside immediately into attack, but Whaley takes this first mark of the second hour, and that's a long thumping kick into the wind. Eaton spoiled from behind. Is it a free kick? Not paid. And there'll be another bounce. 42 leads 25. Riverside in front by 17.66 to 4-1. It's the third quarter.
Parker's coming back on already.
On the ground.
Yeah, but Parker's about to come on, so...
And a kick out towards Manuel, who takes the mark and has one of his few kicks that haven't finished out of bounds. This one might, in fact... No, this one hasn't either. That's a rare thing today. Jeff Manuel hasn't had one of his big days.
Bland off.
And Bland is coming off.
Parker on.
And a very odd move within 40 seconds of the start of the third quarter. James spoils well. Simon's back at full forward, I suspect.
Yes.
Looking at that little contest. And Parker, where has he gone? Into that back line again, where he had such a miserable first quarter. Kick from Riverside across the goal. Williams drops what he should have taken, and then finally sees it through for a point. And Riverside leads 6-7 to 4-1. James looks wide for Whitney Houston, who holds his position well, and it will go out of bounds. No, a free kick.
What? What for?
Oh, that one was dreamt up from somewhere. Green, who's played a very good game to date to Riverside, goes up towards full forward. He's had a pretty even contest to date with Houston, but he has done it well nonetheless. It's picked up by Keynes on the ground. That handball was very ordinary. Wadira didn't make the most of his opportunities. Now it's out towards Kenny, who takes Manuel on the tackle and doesn't do it very well. The straightening kick might go through. It does. And that's a very good start in the third quarter for Riverside. Only an ordinary tackle by McKenny, and Manuel on that left foot kicks Riverside 7th from 40 metres. Well, I can only suspect that Bland is injured. He's come off the ground. Gill straightens up and Riverside on a bit of a run here, out towards Parker. He does it superbly and finds it, gives it to Wiley, who's had a number of key possessions this third quarter already. Schultz looks long. Eaton in front, but Dad's at the back, takes the mark. And he obviously is back in the forward lines. Tasker on the long, wide lead, and the pass is a good one with a free kick not paid. Oh, umpire, what was that all about? And Elson clears it. Looking for Gadira. Nearly well spoiled by Anthony, but that was a strong mark. He now comes back onto the right foot. Looking for Lowry. Looking also for Hoffner, who dodges a number of them. Finally goes back. And James in front will take a strong clearing.
James played very well today. Been right on top at fullback, just as well.
Smurf down the wing, looking for Eaton.
Eaton hasn't taken many marks today.
And it's knocked out of bounds. I've lost my team info. Oh, here it is. Centre wing again in front of the warming up Richard Cook. Big Bruce to Hall. Boost in the head first. Good strong tackle. It should have been penalised, umpire Robertson. But it wasn't. And now Simons is off the ground and Hamill is back on. Kane's a big thumping tap towards Eaton. His kick was not successful. He's still in there battling very hard. But then they find a free kick and it goes to Riverside. And that was a bit generous. James can't mark. Corey Williams, a wonderfully strong tackle. Can't help but feel that Corey Williams can feel aggrieved by that.
The perfect tackle.
You done him wrong, umpire Cranwell. because that was a simply sensational and strong grab by Corey Williams. Keynes is beaten by Godera. Corey Williams, well done, strong man. Brilliantly done, big fellow. The kick is lightly offline, and Magnuson takes the mark. And he goes out, a poor kick. Moy takes a fine mark. He juggled it superbly to firstly beat the Lambrini, is it? Labrandy for the mark, and then held the possession on the way down to the ground. The big bustling one kicks towards centre half forward, where Foster and Kenny are up there. Kenny drops what he should have taken. The outhouse is tackled high and should have got a free kick, but again away comes Kenny. A chance. Dads has got space if he can get to this football. Tasker's with him in support. A good shepherd from Dads. The ball is bent back. A chance here for a courageous mark to Pavlovsky, but he's beaten for it. Cook gets the handball back to Kenny. The spearing pass. He's out towards Dads, who goes inside the Tasker, who's got the chance to spear a good one, and he hits the post. Well, that was good constructive play, set up very well by Michael Kenny. And Sean Tasker, a little bit unlucky there not to post his first for the afternoon. He hit the upright, and that reduces the lead back to 23 points. Towards the half-back flank. Eckert in first. Salvamini kicks out towards the boundary line. It could be out on the full. It's not. But it is out of bounds. University half-forward line, they're certainly doing a lot better against the breeze this quarter than they did in the first. But they have conceded that goal. And that could be critical unless they get a couple back here shortly. We're 7 minutes into the third quarter.
James is telling him to talk it up.
And Clive James using that mouthpiece to best advantage down there, and it's surprising. The quietest man in the club, standing the biggest man for Riverside, is using all his vocal skills there to cheer up his teammates. There's nothing happening on this far side of the ground at the moment. Gill overran it. There'll be another bounce. And Choco, it really looks like the University opening 18 again.
Yes, Parker's gone back to the back pocket. I think Bland's off though, isn't he?
Bland is off, but Dad's has gone back forward.
Yes.
And Foster's still at centre half forward.
Kenny is still picking up a lot of touches. Yeah, Williams is still in the middle. Playing a great game too.
Well, this game's got nowhere in the last 3 minutes, except from the University half-forward line to the half-back line. And it's by courtesy of some very, very ordinary football. It's not delighting the big crowd, certainly on this side of the ground.
Cookie's got a free kick.
And a free kick breaks it up, it goes to Cook. Pavlovsky's got space, but he finds Wiley, and the big man runs the ball out of half-back and kicks a long one towards full forward. Eaton is beaten in the air again. Well spoiled Eckert. Can he keep the ball in play? He's certainly got some space out of it as Kretschmer sees it over the line. Eight minutes, third quarter. And one can only feel that the side that gets the break here after this ordinary period of football will be the one that wins the game. But then again, what do I know? The thumping punch. Will this come out? It does. Foster, one of the best forwards in the game. Tasker's beaten in the air. Well spoiled Elson. Well tackled Tasker. Well chased again. And the ball will find its way into the arms of Kretschmer it is.
Magnuson.
And then Magnuson sees some merit in finding the boundary line and is not penalised for it. And another throw in.
The University doing well against the breeze. They just can't seem to break the deadlock and kick a goal.
Now Kenny, who's played a great game, straightens up, rams it superbly. Well, Michael Kenny, who had his first year in the club the last time the University won a premiership, has done
76, didn't he come afterwards?
had his first year the year after University last won the premiership, has had a sensational game here today on the wing. He's taken his opponent Manuel apart, and his skill and confidence and experience all showed up there with one of the best goals of the game, and University back to within 17 points. Out comes Parker. He misses what he might should have taken. They're picked up well by Whaley. Antonello, with experience and strength, kicks wide looking for Eckert, and he's making a fair presence out there, not giving the mark, and that was an ordinary decision by umpire Cranwell. And it's finally scooped out. Pavlovsky, the University will take a free for the throw, and again Kenny. He looks long looking for Hall, and takes what would have been a great mark. The lumbering Kretschmer was too slow. That was a fierce tackle which will be penalised, and bad football by the critter. Hall's got the chance. He's looking for Tasker, who's behind again. Whitney Houston.
Oh, he's collapsed.
Takes a gem.
Oh dear.
Well, I can't believe that leg could be too sore after taking a mark like that. A sensational grab. And the umpire has called time on, and Sandy Coburn is running out there. It'll take 20 minutes to get there, he's so far away. Here comes Houston, the second goal in 5 minutes for the University Blacks, and he's done it. And the side that's come out of that little pause period of football with the better result as University, they are back to within 11 points, and they are very real chances now. Houston is all right, he's back to the wing.
Jack! Brilliant mark by Houston. Just what the Blacks needed to give them a bit of a lift. Kicking against the breeze in this third quarter. If they can keep in touch, it's going to be a ripper of a last quarter.
Houston gives inspirational football to drive the University side on. Wonderful tackle again by the University centre player. That time it was Stephen Murray. The bustling one has done very well indeed. Cook beaten, but here's a chance. Kenny looks for the play on. Gill gets the kick down the ground. Parker's in front. He traps it well, and then James did superbly and finally found Parker. Skittles goes wide and might still find his captain. And is he going to get a free kick? No, it's out of bounds. Well, they came out of that defensive play well. A great lunge by Parker and a wonderful and skillful possession by Clive James. And Riverside back with a very high kick. It does not travel the requisite distance. The kick is wide and that's taken well. But the handball is a poor one. Green will take Whitney Houston on for speed and is beaten pointless. The game is allowed to flow on as James goes long, and it's just eaten the world. It's 4-1 against him, but he's got Tasker on the lead, and Tasker is out in front and can't take the mark, but he butters up well. A wonderful handball to Foster. Oh, he was called out. He was called out, was Keith Foster. The play would have been superb, being a University player there. And finally, it's taken by Williams, who goes across and finds Gill, whose short pass to Kretschmer, but Pavlovsky nearly did it superbly. Moy butters up and tackles well, and now Parker can find Pavlovsky, and there's space aplenty if he can pick it up. The Cake does. That was superb. He looks long towards full forward. Tasker the sit, and that's the goal.
Well, have really come to life. Someone's got cramp out there from Riverside.
And all of a sudden, Riverside, who had 2 weeks off in the last 4, are in strike, and Fred Block, how do you see it now?
Well, the Blacks have got a bit of a run. If they can just keep their heads cool, do the sensible thing, play the game plan, keep the pressure on, they could be right in this.
Emmanuel comes through, one of his few possessions. Antonello comes through, and that was hard, courageous football. Eckert's doing very well now up the ground, and Dadds takes a strong mark. He's on top of the well, Michael Dadds. He's been moved back into that forward pocket and is dominating. The skillful one kicks long towards full forward. Tasker and Eaton the sit, and is the penalty against them for a push. And the ball is brought out wide for the Critter, and he'll be held by Houston, and he should be held a long time, and he is. And a good professional 15-yard penalty from Whitney. And Pedersen kicks straight into the man on the mark. That was no benefit in that. Green drops what he should have taken.
Come on, Blacks, pick him up.
Goodera has got a chance to run at the ball, but he's a bit shallow on the courage there, Goodera. You've got to do better than that. He heard footsteps, he saw the body, and University come out of it. Eckert, another fine possession. He's been in everything this quarter. Gill, unfortunate possession, and he's got Lowry in space.
Montgomery's on his own.
And it goes across to Montgomery. He can run into the open goal. He might have done a perhaps too much. No. And Riverside kicked their second goal of the quarter and go back to 11-point lead.
Uni backline's pretty disorganised there.
Well, once Lowry had possession of centre half forward with so much space, there was always going to be a goal on there. Finally kicked by Rooney. I think here's one of his few possessions of the game. Riverside just putting a few of the possessions out in the centre at the moment. Kenny being trapped on his right foot, a couple of occasions going for the ball. Parker holds his ground, then gets the good handball out and finds Schultz. Schultz goes short and finds Foster. And Big Keg Foster has proven his worth today in this side, unquestionably. Eaton drops what he should have taken. It comes out to Kretschmer and then to Ashby. Towards Antonello, who scored. Well challenged Parker.
Oh, chase him,
This cannot turn into a goal. Those University big strike. Hofner runs the space, then straightens up, kicks the ground, and that was not a joy to behold. It comes out to the brick shit house, who's got the chance to run with it, but he's smothered, but he'll get a free kick for kicking in danger. And Pedersen has conceded more frees than he's had possessions today. He now goes wide and finds Schultz, who looks long up the ground looking for Eaton. And Eaton can't take that when he dropped his eyes. Green gets the handball on, and that was a good one to Kretschmer. Kretschmer looks up towards the ground, and Goodera will hold his ground and take the mark. And really, this man Goodera has done a little more than he should have today. A kick up towards full forward. Antonello holds ground. Nobody from University can mark. It hits the turf. Kenny bustles hard, but it'll be a bounce. And it's 11 points the difference, and we're 20 minutes into this third quarter, with Riverside leading 8-7 to 7-2.
Red block.
Well, they really just got to try and hold them here. They can just stop them from scoring again for the rest of this quarter. Then they've got the breeze at their back in the last quarter. There'll be a big chance, but
Riverside's big strength seems to be in the ruck, where Hamill is dominating and getting the ball out to the Rovers, and he's really giving the Uni Rovers a hard time. And they're able to set up the play with a chain of hand passes. Individually, Uni are really starting to play well now, but they've got to keep this pressure on. I hope they can go in at three-quarter time in close touch.
There won't be a lot of score, I don't think, in the last quarter. Certainly if it's tight. And Williams, the bustling and brilliant Corey Williams, kicks a country mile on that one. Eaton again beaten.
Yeah, Ashby's killed him.
Taken by Ashby. And a penalty. A 15-metre one. And Ashby now kicks long. He's looking for Rooney. James spoils superbly, claims the mark and not given. He was too slow with the handball. It's a long kick towards the goal square. The Parkers would want the ball to bounce well. The Parkers would want the ball to bounce well. And finally they got off the hook as it goes through for 1 point. And it's 44 University. They trail Riverside at 56. Oh, here's some space. Schultz has got plenty to work with. Well shepherded Houston. The long kick again.
Come on, Vic.
And Moy. There's no one down.
Too many on him, man.
And Foster sees the ball out of bounds. Well, I don't understand why they're looking for Foster more on those plays down the ground. Eaton's been so comfortably held today, and yet Foster has probably been their best set positioned forward player.
They always seem crowded when they go down there too.
Hall, a wonderfully skillful pickup. Will it find Dad's in space? It might find Pavlovsky instead. Oh, a free kick given away. Martinovic, who's done pretty well today. Kicks, looks like a high kick, and Foster will take it. And Riverside are looking very ordinary, I think, in their back line. They're looking tired. The skills aren't there that they had earlier in the game. Tasker, a sensation. It's not played. There'll be a bounce. Well, we've seen some wonderful high leaps by the University forwards. That time, the boy Sean, the fantastic. Earlier, Houston, that resulted in the goal, of course. Hooker, there's plenty of players around. Look, Brandy comes out. He had that far too easily. Towards Eckert, who can't mark. It's 4-1 against Riverside, but they get it out. And now they've got 2-1 in their favour, and now 3-1 Montgomery goes wide. Schultz is caught flat-footed. Oh, he can try to do too much. And Hoffner certainly did there. And Antonello, the All-Australian, the flu-bound, kicks towards the centre. Why? That's the reason. It's Michael Kenny who's there. Now Dad's is on the lead, and Foster's on the lead, but he's going to ignore all those and look for Eaton, who can't mark. Foster in front. He's going to take on Manuel, and Manuel beats him and does it well. And the short pass parades space, and that was Salvamini. He comes out towards Rooney. Williams takes him on and does it superbly and is penalised, and that looked a little unfair because Rooney was over the football. And the straightening kick is very straight, it goes backwards. Parker comes out, Hall comes in, he kicks the ball wide and there's some space there. They can get it before it goes to the boundary line. They can't. And as we come towards time on in the third quarter, it's 56-44, and if Uni can get one more goal here and go into three-quarter time just the one down, they'd have a very big chance, I think, given the way that Riverside full-back line is looking a little leg-weary. Kick comes out, Antonello holds his ground. The kick was touched, and Antonello looks for a pass, and Foster can't mark. He tried to go over the top to Moy, who was tackled without possession, and tackled again, and then holds it in superbly, and a Hall gives a good bump.
No, not the Lowry. It's danger, Barry.
And they found
Rooney, is it?
Space. Rooney. That's too much space. Too much space coming across that ground. And Hoffner, who really has done some good things today. Another kick for goal from 30 yards. He's gone back to the 50-yard mark. His kick is wide and through to behind. Much to the delight of the University crowd. And Chris Jones,
He's got no one to kick to.
who's played a wonderful game.
Keith Foster's leading from centre half forward.
Looking wide and finds Foster. That was a very good piece of football and well done, Keith Foster. The handball to Parker. He was off the traction. And
Great
that was a great tackle by Foster again. Williams is there. Surely all is saved if he's in there.
Great
Be a
play,
bounce.
Foster. Great play, Foster. Took the mark, gave the good handball. When Parker was slow to get his kick, Foster was up there and putting up a hard tackle in again.
Cook gets
Cook's
the tackle
playing
that
much
time.
better in ruck now.
Kenny gets the kick. There's space here if Eaton can get the run. Now comes
No, he's going
Martinovic.
for it.
Eckert's in there and takes a free kick. And now all of a sudden there's space down there if Eckert can get the ball down quickly. He instead goes to Kenny, who's caught on his right foot and is pinged. Oh, that was harsh. That's a new interpretation of the holding the ball rule. And Ashby, who's unfortunately beaten Eaton today, kicks out wide. A sensational spoil by Whaley. And the kick out of bounds on the full. And the All-Australian will take the kick. Kenny is short. So it's this man Moy that goes towards him. Now it's picked up by Foster. Nearly certainly the best forward on the ground. Eaton in position. Can't mark. But well picked up Hall.
Smooth.
Here's a chance will bounce the right way. It only does for Riverside. They'll have to change direction. And kick short, and there's a chance. In goes Hall, and that was a bit lucky for Riverside. The kick wide. Foster again. Oh, one of the marks of the day. He rose so high, but took the mark really down towards his bootstraps, 5 feet off the ground. And the kick, I've super mark. The kick is far too high. Kretschmer sits on it. Oh, he's played the worst free kick of the day. He sat on that ball, he fell over, and University might well feel they were done wrong there. John Parker, a thumping punch. Will this create requisite space? The bustling Corey Williams takes them on and beats them superbly, and then comes inside and can't get it out. And finally picked up and centred, and out comes Cook and nearly takes a shot. He's penalised for something he didn't do, and that's 2 bad decisions, umpire Robertson. And now away goes Gill. Oh, and finds space. And hold your man, Jeff. You're Mick Kenny. You're a bit unlucky there. That kick did go a long way. We're into time on by 3 minutes. Whaley goes up to Antonello, starting to dominate. He can set up play now to shoot. He goes down the wing. Who's there leading? Looking for Velocity, perhaps to short. And now the siren sounds.
Montgomery's a bit sore. Martinovic's a bit sore.
And it's 3/4 time. It's 8-9 Riverside. They lead University 7-2. It's 57-44. Comments, Fred Block.
Well, a much better quarter by the Blacks. They've put the pressure on Riverside that whole quarter. Riverside have got a few players who look like they've got cramp and injuries, and the signs are there. The Black could win this one if they've got the right attitude. So we're all hoping for a good last quarter.
Back to the one player, and I just think it's Alan Gill. I don't think he's doing enough. Although he did more in that quarter, but I think he can do a lot more than that. Some of his passing of the ball hasn't been up to standard, really. Yeah, let's be honest about it. You know, I'm quite surprised because I thought a player of his calibre could pass the ball better than he has, but he hasn't passed it too good. In fact, you know, he's sent down a few hospital balls. We've been lucky to get away with it, but we have. Vinny's come into the game. He's looking better. He's working harder. His tackling's good, which we know he can tackle. Jeff Manuel is playing his usual game. In fact, Jeff Manuel's playing a very good game. Greeny perhaps wasn't in it as much in that quarter as he should have been. You know, I'm a little bit disappointed with a couple of our players. And once again, I'd have to say they're our forward line players. You know, I'm disappointed with Peter Williams. I don't know, he just doesn't seem to be doing enough for mine, and I don't believe Mark Hoffner's doing enough. You know, I think Mark Hoffner's trying to, when he does get the ball, he wants to try to do it on his own. He seems to forget that he's got other players around him that he should be looking for, instead of zip-zapping here and running here. And I just don't think that Hoffner's really doing the job that we'd expect.
Well, as a situation like, you can't comment on we don't know the talk at the moment, so I don't think we should crucify him. We don't know what is going on out in the Oval with talk and so forth. So let's get away from our bad points and look at our good points for a while. Well, I think with Big Dick in the ruck, I think they've got his measure. And Mango and Mecca, they're doing their job around the ground. Boundaries runs, we're getting the ball down. We're getting our first hand of the ball. As I said, Peto will miss him, his bite, his ball ability and his ball disposal. And this is his ball know-how. We'll miss that.
I think so. We'll definitely miss it. Sally, I thought, was a bit quiet that quarter.
Yes, but he contained... we haven't seen too much of this... what's his name?
Doesn't matter anyway.
Foster. I think Foster was on him, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's only getting a couple of touches, but most of them been utilised.
They seem to be playing a bit wide of one another, though.
Hello.
Sally doesn't seem to be with him.
Yes, Peter Carter from POAC has just wished his mother and father all the best, which we don't mind doing that. It's on national video.
Darryl Ashby down in the back pocket on Mark Eaton's doing a great job. He's totally annihilated Eaton. Eaton's had a few kicks, but he hasn't had the opportunities of doing it.
No.
Like, we know Eaton as an explosive type of footballer that can probably win a game in his own on his day. But Darryl Ashby hasn't allowed this. He has not given him an inch.
And they're still using that channel. They haven't diversed into another channel. They're still going through Eaton, which usually is their mainstay, going through Eaton. So now, if they don't find another channel, well, Ashes is doing his best. Well, I think he's dominating, really. You know, it's back when he hasn't put a foot wrong.
No.
Eaton's only touches he had is only still getting a slap on the bum at the start of the game.
Yep, I agree.
So things are looking good. We're looking at...
well, we're looking at a 13-point lead. It's not a massive lead, but then again, when you consider it, it's taken University 3 quarters to kick 7-2.
Well, their goal was in the first quarter, weren't they? So
yes.
It's 2 quarters. They've scored 7 goals in 2 quarters.
So on the law of averages, if you wanted to go on a percentage basis, Riverside will win this game by 7 points.
Yes. I'd work on 15 points there, Brian. I'll take the gamble there.
So you're going what, 10 to 20?
10 to 20, yes.
That's good. I hope you're right. Because I don't think I can sit up here if it gets within a goal of one another in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, so just off the standard there. Look at the North Adelaide scores. North Adelaide have come back now, 4 points up.
North Adelaide, they are 4 points up.
Yeah,
they were 3 points down at half time.
It's good to see them Bays get down and shut Coxie up for a while. He's been mouth off about the Coxie.
You'd expect that.
Oh, he's a pain.
Well, I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
But who's going to win the big one tomorrow?
Well, down there, I think it's a toss-up. It'll be the match of the season. There's no second chances now. That's it. So tomorrow's game will be a big one. But getting back to this main game here in club.
Stephen Bland and Bruce Keynes are going to the bench to commence this last quarter of the A1 Grand Final in perfect conditions here at beautiful Adelaide Oval. University will start the last quarter kicking it to the northern end. 13 points in arrears. They trail 7-2 to 8-9. And everything at stake. Move's been made by the Riverside runner. I'm not sure he can stay in the pivot this opening bounce. He says something utterly trivial to Magnuson, I suspect. Something like, do your best or get in there. And the last quarter in the A1 Grand Final is underway. And Hall gets the first kick and Foster the first free kick, or it should have been. Dads comes out and does it superbly and then kicks towards the pocket where Eaton has space for the first time today. And they're alive. And Eaton Is he far enough down the ground to have a shot for goal? He certainly thinks so. Tasker leads. Eaton kicks and kicks superbly. It's short. Is it a mark? No, it's 1 point and it's back to 12-point margin. A very good kick from Michael Eaton. And Elson looks like he's going to be sitting on this ball for a while, coming out of fullback. The pass is a bad one. Foster takes his opponent on. And that was Salvamini. Bay's got nowhere to go, the Riverside half-back line. Can Kenny beat Manuel yet again? That was an intelligent thump forward. Foster uses body and strength. And well done, Keg Foster. You've been an inspiration today for this university side. Cook, spurred on by his players, by his supporters, gets it down to the critter. Williams, a courageous and skillful and strong spoil. It's bent back towards Whaley. Antonello nearly did great work. Whaley a good possession. He'll get it clear to Antonello, who's tripped up and not freed. And that's two bad decisions to open up this last quarter. And now Montgomery has space. He goes to Williams, and Williams kicks the goal.
That's what they didn't want.
Well, I really think, Fred, that they were not treated well by umpires on two occasions there.
They certainly had the worst of the umpire.
Clearly Antonello was tripped in going for that ball, and clearly earlier on Foster was infringed while going for the first kick of the first mark of the quarter, and you just can't afford to suffer that sort of treatment and hope to do well, or as well as you might. Riverside by 18 points, and Cook gets it down, and the kick forward is by Hall, and it's cleared away, and Manuel has a space on Kenny, but out comes Whaley and took him on. Then Guadira heard those footsteps again. You're faint of heart, Guadira. You dropped the ball, Bush Lowry. You didn't deserve a free kick and you didn't get one. And the umpire Cranwell, with his jelly, will throw the ball up. We're at the 2-minute mark of the last quarter. And Kenny will get a half kick. It wasn't even that. It's tight, very tight football on the university half back line. The leap of the day, Kenny a half kick. Ecker would need to get this. Kretschmann beat him for it, and then taps it on intelligently. But Antonello, that was very cool. The bustling Steve Moy, the hard rock, goes wide and finds Houston, who courageously plays on and then kicks long down the ground. Will it bounce? Oh, it doesn't. It bounced straight. And Houston, that was a superb run. There was skill and courage in that initial mark, and then confidence and strong and spirited mind that sent him down the ground, and unlucky to miss it. 17 points the difference, Riverside in front. Kenny the sit, doesn't take it. Cook on the ground, can't take it either. Riverside will clear, up the wing. And Green drops what he should have taken, and the ball is out of bounds. And Cook and Guadira. Through goes Pedersen. Kenny got the ball underneath him, and there'll be a bounce. "17 points the difference. 4 minutes last quarter. Moy comes out again. He got a high tackle and will take the free kick. But some of the earlier ones wouldn't have gone astray, umpire Cranwell. Berger is sending a message out to Whaley, I suspect. Eaton beaten. And Dad's tackled, but no free kick. And another throw in on the half forward flank. And Cook will take on Hamill. Magnuson, my correction. Again out of bounds. Well, we saw in the third quarter the way the game got bottled up for 5 minutes with some very ordinary football. And will they get the break again as they did then, University? The throw-in, Lloyd the pass, goes inside them and did it superbly. Pavlovsky might have to sit here. Tasker misses what he should have taken. Pavlovsky is through. Straightens up, looks, and does not find Houston. Will Williams bustle his way through? Well, the handball was intelligent, but it didn't come off, and Elson was farting around with the ball down there, and finally gets out to Martinovic, who is trapped and should have been pinged on earlier interpretations. Now gets another chance, and he drops the ball again, and really, they got away with murder. It was Lindy Chamberlain stuff out there, they got away with so much murder. Dads, the chance, Tasker, not infringed, Foster through, here's a chance, Pavlovsky with Eckert. Oh, and a free kicker given against them again. And the Brandy kicks wide, Schultz in the way, but Lowry has the run, and he spears it long. Oh, and that was nearly a very good pass. And Guadira sees it out of bounds. And Chocka 7 minutes into the last quarter, 17 points down. They want to do something pretty quickly.
Well, this is what the season's all about. You train hard all year, you've got to work. They work for the next 20 minutes, they can still kick 3 and win this game.
Gill was the flyer, but there came nothing of it. And Scarlett O'Hara's in motion with the water bottles. And another Riverside player with cramp. And one really can't help but think that if University get a little run on here, that those Riverside legs might have been found lacking in the crucial area of fitness. Cook, a high kick. Who's at the back? Moy has played a very fine second half and is appealing for an out of bounds, I think, off the foot of the Riverside wingman. But the boundary umpire said no, and other things. The throw in. Cook desperate, Pavlovsky skillful. Eckert the set, and out in front is Hall. He appealed one of the free kick and couldn't get it. Again, Riverside come out. Again, it's Martinovic. His kick finds Gill in space. The short pass was not good. And John Parker chips in, and he's played a lot better since midway through the third quarter. And now Corey Williams, just about best player of field, sticks it wide, and Eaton has a paddock to work in. Is there a lead on? They've all straightened up, and I think that was unfortunate. Eckert across and beaten by Martinovic. Well, I really don't understand why they didn't lead into this pocket, because that was where Eaton was heading, and that's where the space was. Martinovic goes wide, and will find Gill, who's got clear of Cook, and now plays on. And at the back, it is seen through for a behind. Whaley was the man felled at the last line. And the lead is back to 18 points. And we're at the 8-minute mark. And still something might come. Moy challenges Pedersen, but the critter takes a strong one. And Gill, I think, in some problems of cramp there. Green leading short. Big Mark Antonello. His second half's been superb. Parker comes out. He looks for Houston. Williams, a tremendous piece of skill, finds Cook, who jags it wide, and Eaton into the game.
Jesus, Mick.
Drops what he should have taken. And then it should have been infringed. He's got 3-1 against him. And finally it's cleared. Out comes Schultz, misses it. Pavlovsky done well since he came on. He gets a free kick for penalty up the field, and Houston has it, and that's a valuable player for anyone to have for the football. any club to have. Moy runs it well. It's looking for Tasker. He's looking for Dad, but there's no one in front. Hall puts in a hard thumping.
Good play, Trevor Hall. They're breaking down up in the forward area.
Tackle. They are chopping.
The ball's always the forward line's always been crowded, and there's been no one up there able to take the grab, and Riverside have been able to get the ball off hands more often than not.
It was a tired Foster who watched Magnuson thump that away, and I sort of feel they haven't really gone about it. They've insisted on leading to the direct line of goal, and sometimes a kick to the leg would have been a more applicable approach, just perhaps to create a little bit more space. Cook, well done. You've played an inspired second half, Richard Cook. It comes out to Den, Kretschmer. No, it's Pedersen. He's tackled, but he got space to Martinovic, who's had a lot of possession today. He puts the ball on the ground and was nearly caught by Foster. Eckert holds one position. And has he been paid it? No. Well. And Riverside will just hold the game up here a fraction. We're after the 10-minute mark. Still they lead by 3 goals. It's 9-10 to 7-4. And a strong, great mark to Houston, who's improved remarkably since the game started. He picks up a penalty. He's now beating Green comfortably. His long kick is absolutely sensational. At the back, again it's Riverside, and again they're being beaten in the air. And again, this time I think it's Kretschmer.
No, that looks like Rooney, is it? No, it's Gill.
At the back, Antonello misses it, butters up and does it superbly. The handball inside to Cook was great. To Schultz was skillful and precise. Towards Hall, who looks for position and does it well and gets it to Dads. And now we're looking for the long Tasker lead, and he's got it. He's got it on the lead. And Sean Tasker, if ever you're going to kick a great goal this year, this is your moment. There's negligible wind on this field. That was a very good pass. There's 2 Riverside players down with cramp. And he's jagged it. 17-point lead, Riverside.
Should be doing push-ups.
12 minutes last quarter. In a low-scoring grand final. Colin Elson will take oodles and oodles of time to get this ball back into play. He's helped by some Painter and Docker down the far end, who's could be playing with the Port Adelaide Longhorns this year in the gridiron. That throw was very good. Is it a push? It's been played against him, and rightly so. And a chance for a penalty of 15 yards. It's taken by Schultz. They want something different. Hall goes into the pocket. It's a low pass, but it goes straight to Pedersen.
Forward setup hasn't worked at all today.
Ivan Coles is now being carried off the ground. I think looks like acute cramp. Schultz goes inside and finds Antonello and does it well. Parker is now running the ball down the ground and finds space to Houston, who comes inboard across the centre and takes them all on and beat them and did it superbly. And the kick out wide, there's no one there again. Martinovic,
Williams just took somebody out.
Been miles away from his opponent and yet has done it so well all day. Is it out of bounds on the forward ears? And Dads will take the relieving penalty free. And it's a touch kick, and that was careless. And Dads...
That's silly. That's
Well, mums and dads lined up what can only be described as a pretty indiscreet attempt at hitting them. The pass is a good one. And Rooney, who kicked a valuable goal in the third quarter, straight to the ball, long towards full forward. James was the man in front, but Parker is the one who comes out. He'll look for his captain, Kenningham, and a long-time teammate. Got a good game, not played, it isn't played. Oh, well, I want to see that in replay. I don't know whether he had first grab, the little man. His kick is long, and we've gone to the 15-minute mark of this last quarter, and the goals for University are absolutely at a premium and crucial now. Tips to Hall is taken on. Eckert just could be too slow. It goes out wide and Houston has it. No, he misses it. Legrandi will take him off the speed. Now Houston the chance, and he'll be allowed to play on. And the long lead is from Eaton, and he drops what he should have taken again. They come back to Foster. Now it's to Foster, but it's all a bit late, I think. Now it's to Moy, and that was clever football. And Moy lines them up and rams a goal. Well, that was very good running football from Stephen Moy, who followed that play down. And after the initial disposal from Eaton was too slow, Foster found Moy in that space. And from 25 metres, he's put through a good one. And still their chances there. It's 11 points. There's at least 10 or 12 minutes to play. And Tasker being brought up to centre-half forward. I think Eckert's been sent back to full forward. Eckert looking very tired at present. Eaton comes through with courage and looked around the middle. Edison took it. That was a good handle, but it's badly fumbled. Williams went over the top to Manuel.
It's too easy.
And Manuel has stuck it wide. And the university crowd breathed a very long sigh of relief, because that would have made it very hard, and Manuel would have had to have been the luckiest man on the field getting his possession today to do that. Houston, who's played a sensational second half, has another possession. He gets them to centre-half forward, where Eaton shepherds for Pavlovsky. Williams controls the ball well and then wins it wonderfully well and finds Tasker, who should look long, and he does. The boy Sean kicks a boomer towards Foster, and it's offhands for a point. And it's back to 11 points. 2 kicks will win it for University. But they'd want to be straight ones, and they'd want to be near the goal. That's where the ball is now, as Elson does something a bit smart and attaches it to himself, and will go a handball, and he's fiddling around. And a bit of a handball, good tackle Salvamini. That could have been a big strike, but Kenny is front position. Pavlovsky misses what he should have taken. Now he comes clear, and Kenny has it. And Eckert on the long, low lead, holds position. And now the chance to go up a play, and goes superbly to Eaton. You ought to straighten it, Michael. He's done it, finds Dance. And Mums and Dads has played a very elusive game. Having been badly beaten in the first quarter, he's done a number of very good things since then, especially in the second half, and he puts University within 1 kick.
The greatest comeback his hustles.
Well, Michael Kenny has got to be praised for that. His foot passing has set up a number of plays today that have resulted in scores. It certainly hasn't been his fault they haven't been goals. And suddenly University trail by only 5 scoring shots. It's 9-11 to 9-6, 65 to 60, and we're 18 and a half minutes into the last quarter. Moy goes in hard. On the bottom of the pack, it's Richard Cook, who's played an inspired second half. That rest in the snow during the last one-round game has done him wonders. He's carried the rucks today in front of the injured Bruce Keynes. Out comes Schultz. Dads again has 2 yards on his opponent. Now finds Hall, who has 10. He kicks long down the ground. Foster the shepherd. It can't be done, and Tasker sees it through for a point, and it's 4 points the difference. And Fred Block is out of his chair. He's out of his tree, is the Fred. It's 4 points the difference, and Colin Nelson doesn't waste time here and kicks it wide, and kicks it badly. No, they got away with that. That was nearly a donation to University, but the lunging Riverside player has kept the ball certainly as a throw-in, if not down the ground. 19 minutes, nearly 20 minutes in, last quarter. The sun is out again. It's University doing all the attacking. Edison drops it. No free kick. It will be a bounce. And it's going to need the faint of heart should not be here. And hopefully the umpires will see some courageous decisions later in this game. Socket off the ground, intelligent football. It's scooped up, was it a throw? Foster gets it down and finds Eaton. He jags it back and Dance. He's taken another one. It's no Zeckert. Well, that kick must have gone what could only be described as the barest margin beyond 9.99 metres. But no Zeckert has a chance to put University ahead for the first time today. It's a deliberate kick, but it's a bad one. And it's 4 points the difference. Well, those are the ones that ought to be kicked. But there's still plenty of time. 20 minutes. They are dominating all over the field, University, at the moment. They are winning in ruck with Cook. They are winning across the centre. They have won across half-back since quarter time. Towards Cook. Moy will lead in the chase. He has Kenny in support. He does it superbly and gets a free kick for it. And Green, you've been thrashed today, especially since half-time, where Houston has given you one of the biggest baths outside England. And Moy looking for a leading running Tasker, and that's where it's gone. And the man in front's not paid it. Well, that was a strong moment, Kretschmer. Well, that forward line's moving and it's swirling and twirling at those chances now. Dads went for the ride, couldn't take it. Gill looked up and didn't look at the ball, and Moy should have got a free kick and didn't. And Corey Williams superb, he looked us out the play. Dad's courageous, and I think he'll get a free kick. No, it's a bounce. Well, I thought the umpire again signalled for over the shoulder. 3 points the difference. 21 minutes, last quarter. Cook up. Gill possession. Who's there? It looks very much like Whitney Houston v nothing. He takes the ball. If he can find a long lead, he'll do well. The kick towards full forward. Out comes Foster. The mark of the day. Well, Keg Foster returned from Port Adelaide reserves with 4 games to play. He's played absolutely inspirationally in this game, and now a chance to put Uni in front for the first time this afternoon. The kick is a tumble, but it's a hero's kick. Seen University lead 68-65. Moy again, beautifully shepherded Kenny. A chance here for Tasker. He does well to keep it going forward. Foster with his stitches will take a free. No, I thought it was deliberately out. But they've gone forward again. And Riverside are in strife. They trail by 3 points. And University at the play-up forward. Cook and nearly a fine possession. Foster plays for the free. It's out of bounds. We're 24 minutes last quarter. And the clock is ticking, and this game has just got hot. And University have just got hot. Oh, umpire Cranwell, a late call. But so long as you're in front, they can't complain. That clock is ticking, and it's ticking into the yellow zone on the time clock. Foster, a courageous left foot kick. Oh, unlucky that wasn't to score. And University must hold their men here and keep this ball. Oh, it doesn't go out in the full. Taste off the boot, I suspect. Opportune, and there's a wall being formed, and there's 25 and there's 30 players around this football. And Coach Griffin will be ecstatic. He's come to the club. He's brought 2 premierships to lower grades, and he's now about to bring the first A1 premiership to the club in 11 years. Tasker, the thumping punch. Out of bounds will do, boys. It goes towards Hall and Eaton sees it out. And we're 20 metres around from the boundary. Cook has been sensational in the second half. Houston has been a star. Corey Williams is the man who kept them in the game. A poor throw-in. Thump it out, University. A burrowing run by Hall. There will be another bounce and we're into time on. We're into time on. The little yellow zone's been penetrated by the time out on the floor. Is it? Yes, it is. Oh, bounce on the line. The clock ticks on. 20 metres, 20 players around the ball. James has come up the ground to follow Hamill. Moyes a half kick behind the play. Schultz is a kick behind the play and loose. Cook grabs it and kicks it long. And this is a chance for Dads. Well, it's a chance now for Riverside to come out. And well chased Nozekit towards Houston and Green. Antonello can't get there. They could just hold this ball and be enough. He's taken on and runs it in and holding the ball. Well, it's an ordinary decision, but they've been consistent with it all day. And Houston the chance. He's taking plenty of time. Uni have kicked 3 goals to 1 in this last quarter. The huge leap by Tasker. It's knocked on by Hall. Pavlovsky courageous. And there'll be a bounce. Well, there won't be a lot of time on from here. Stoppages time only. Schultz trots back a kick behind the play. Uni, I think, might be there. A wonderful moment if they are. Beautifully smothered Hall. One of the plays of the day. Dads was tripped and no free kick. Pavlovsky kicks long to seal the premiership. It doesn't. Eaton missed what he might have taken. Foster gets a free kick. No, it's gone the other way. And the play is held up. Martinovic. And then more time is wasted. Or is the clock stopped? We're into the 27 minutes. 28th minute of the game. Martinovic will get the short pass out of the fence. He'll be made to hold it by Moy. Foster challenges hard. Parker the sit. Kenny the sit. Kenny the grab. Can he get it on quickly enough? He does. Foster, you've got to chase that man. Mick Kenny and takes a strong run. And hold that football, Michael. The headmaster's done a wonderful job today on the wing. He's won it pointlessly. And Tasker at the back. No, it's Moy in the front. Tasker will see it out. Intelligent football boy, Sean. Nearly 28 minutes last quarter. A1 grand final. University leads 68. Uni have won the flag by 3 points. 68 to 65. 10-8 to 10-5. And a sensational last quarter in which they kicked 3 goals to 1. And it's a magnificent win. Fred Block, some final comments. No final comments from Fred Block. I'm going onto the ground.
This is Brian Lees and Bubbles Mill signing off. Brian Lees and Bubbles Mill signing off. I'll say it again. Final scores. Riverside 9-11-65. University 10-8-68. 3-point defeat to Riverside. One that has shocked us all, and the less said the better. Good night.